IBRAHIM Traoré, born March 14, 1988, is a Burkinabe military officer and politician who has served as the interim president of Burkina Faso since 2022. Traoré took control of Burkina Faso in September 2022, ousting interim president Paul-Henri Sandaogo Damiba in a coup d'état. Aged 37, he is currently the second youngest head of state in the world. During his tenure, Traoré has sought to distance the country from its former colonial power, France, and played an instrumental role in founding the Alliance of Sahel States. Early life. IBRAHIM Traoré was born in Kara, Bondakwi, Mohan Province, on 14 March 1988. After receiving his primary education in Bondakwi, he attended a high school in Bobo Dioulasso, the second largest city in Burkina Faso, where he was known as being quiet and very talented. From 2006, he studied geology at the University of Ouagadougou. He was part of the Association of Muslim Students and the Marxist Association Nationale d'étudiants du Burkina, ANEB. In the latter, he rose to delegate and became known for defending his classmates in disputes. He graduated from the university with honors. Military career. Traoré joined the Army of Burkina Faso in 2009 and graduated from the Georges Monod Military Academy. He was sent to Morocco for anti-aircraft training before being transferred to an infantry unit in Kaya, a town in northern Burkina Faso. Promoted to lieutenant in 2014, Traoré joined MINUSMA, a United Nations peacekeeping force involved in the Mali War. In 2018, he was cited as one of the MINUSMA soldiers who showed courage during major rebel attacks in the Tombouctou region. He subsequently returned to Burkina Faso, where he assisted in operations against the escalating jihadist insurgency. Traoré fought at Djibo, in the Otapuanu offensive of 2019, and several other counterinsurgency operations in the country's north. He was promoted to captain in 2020. Traoré later said that he became disillusioned with his country's leadership around this time, as he saw the widespread lack of equipment of Burkinabe soldiers, while politicians were handing out suitcases of money for bribery. He gradually became the spokesman for soldiers stationed in the north who were frustrated over their government. Rise to power. Traoré was part of the group of army officers that supported the January 2022 Burkina Faso coup d'état and brought the patriotic movement for safeguard and restoration military junta to power. From March 2022, he served as the head of an artillery regiment in Kaya 9-4. Whether he was ever associated with the Cobra Special Forces, a counter-terrorist unit founded in 2019, is disputed. According to the BBC, Al Jazeera, and Ite citing, he was part of the unit at some point. However, news magazine Jeune Afrique stated that he was never associated with the Cobras. Many supporters of the January coup became dissatisfied with the performance of Paul-Henri Sandaogo Damiba, the junta's leader, regarding his inability to contain the jihadist insurgency. Traoré later said that he and other officers had tried to get Damiba to refocus on the rebellion, but eventually opted to overthrow him as his ambitions were diverting away from what we set out to do. The dissatisfaction about the situation was highest among younger officers who fought against the rebels at the front lines. In addition, there were delays in pay for the Cobra troops. When the plotters launched their coup on September 30th, Traoré still held the rank of captain. The operation was carried out with support of the Cobra unit. In the direct aftermath of the coup, Traoré was chosen as the new head of the Patriotic Movement for Safeguard and Restoration, 12. On October 6, he also assumed the position of interim president as head of state, supreme head of the armed forces. Presidency. Consolidation of power. As president, Traoré has maintained the enigmatic and very formal behavior for which he had already been known prior to rising to power. He has kept a tight control on his communication while carefully trying to present himself primarily as a war leader. His presidency has also seen an increase of pro-government propaganda in Burkinabe traditional media and social media. Politically, Le Monde journalist Sophie Daus described Traoré as influenced by Marxism and Pan-Africanism. In April 2023, he declared a general mobilization of the population to support the military. As rebel forces continued to increase the rate of their attacks, Traoré publicly pledged to reconquer all rebel-held areas and that there would be no negotiations until the insurgency had been greatly weakened. In the following month, Traoré questioned the planned restoration of democracy for 2024, stating that elections could not be held unless the insurgents were pushed back and the security situation had been improved. This statement reneged on the October 2022 promise he made in negotiations to secure the formal resignation of his deposed predecessor Paul-Henri Sandaogo Damiba, to honor Damiba's pledge to the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, to restore civilian rule in Burkina Faso in 2 years. On September 26, 2023, dissatisfied elements of the military again rose up and unsuccessfully attempted to overthrow Traoré. National consultations were held on the 25th and the 26th of May 2024 to discuss the future of the transition in Burkina Faso. While participants included civil society representatives, most political parties boycotted the consultations. The result was the extension of Traoré's mandate for an additional 5 years while also allowing him to contest the next presidential elections. On December 6, 2024, Traoré dissolved his government and removed De Tambala as prime minister. Gold and general mining sector developments. In November 2023, Burkina Faso's Council of Ministers approved the construction of the country's first gold refinery. This marked a significant development in Burkina Faso's gold sector, aiming to capitalize on the nation's growing gold mining industry. Traoré seeks to gain more control over its gold resources by refining gold domestically rather than exporting unrefined materials. This would increase government revenue and economic benefits from the gold sector. The refinery is set to create 100 new jobs and 5,000 new indirect jobs, with the refinery producing roughly 400 kilograms of gold daily. In February 2024, Traoré ordered the suspension of the issuance of export permits for small-scale private gold production, a move reportedly aimed at tackling illicit trade, which consists of smuggling gold abroad, avoiding taxes and regulations, and cleaning up the artisanal gold sector. This suspension aims to crack down on such activities and ensure that exported gold is properly documented and contributes to government revenue. The government hopes this suspension will establish a more formal and accountable system for exporting small-scale produced gold. Foreign relations shift from France to Russia. In February 2023, Traoré's government expelled from Burkina Faso the French forces assisting in fighting the local insurgency. He subsequently declared that his nation wanted to look at other horizons, because we want win-win partnerships, supporting the diversification of Burkina Faso's international partnerships. Shortly after, Traoré's government expressed support for a federation with Mali and both invited Guinea. All three countries are under military leadership and, if they were to become a union, would be the largest country ruled by military junta. To replace French military support, Traoré forged closer ties to Turkey and Russia. According to Reuters and the New York Times, Traoré was suspected of having a connection with Russian mercenary organization Wagner Group due to having expressed anti-French and pro-Russian views. As Traoré entered Ouagadougou, the nation's capital, supporters cheered, some waving Russian flags. The government of Ghana publicly alleged that Traoré began collaborating with the Wagner Group following the coup, enlisting the mercenaries against the jihadist rebels. Traoré denied this, stating that our Wagner are the VDP, referencing the Volunteers for the Defense of the Homeland. On July 29, 2023, following the 2023 Russia-Africa Summit, Traoré said that the people of his country support Russia, and communicated that a decision had been made to reopen the Russian embassy, which was closed in 1992. According to the newspaper Le Monde in May 2023, the Traoré regime seems, for the time being, to be favoring the use of its own forces in the fight against the jihadists and has not asked Wagner's Russians for help. Russian troops, including the Wagner Group, were eventually deployed in Burkina Faso in January 2024.